Hey, you ever notice when you're making meatballs at home, you just can't seem to get it right? It's like, what do I have to do here? You know, I would go to the restaurant, they got a nice bready texture to them. I just can't seem to figure it out. You gotta be thinking to yourself, Cast Iron Man, please save me. I'm getting in my car, I'm driving 12 minutes to the local meatball spot, and I'm giving money to a small business person. What's the point of that? Well, with my recipe, you're never gonna have to do that ever again. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, and you just eat meatballs in your house with your family. Okay, I'm just joking around. We're actually gonna make the meatballs. It's gonna be great. And they are gonna be bready. They're gonna be saucy with the marinara sauce. That's critical, so go watch that video and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah, cut the shit up. We got some rolls here that we made the other day. Rosemary Asiago rolls and then just plain rosemary rolls. These have been sitting in the kitchen for a while, so we don't want to just throw them out to the crows in the backyard because they won't stop coming back, and there'll be a big blue jay and crow war we'll have to deal with, and maybe even have a kind of Treaty of Versailles for an avian Treaty of Versailles. Okay, that's really tangential and not important. Cube up your bread and then throw it into an oven which is set to 300 degrees for about 25 minutes. Just keep an eye on it because my bread was a little bit moister than maybe your bread will be, or maybe yours will be moister than mine. After the bread is thoroughly dried out, toss it into your food processor where you are going to begin to pulse it up. Once we do our first pulse and we kind of grind down the breadcrumbs a little bit, then we're going to introduce our parsley, our oregano, basil, pecorino cheese, salt, pepper. Well, that's it to make Italian bread. Oh, garlic powder, onion powder. Yeah, we're going to make these Italian flavored breadcrumbs. But if you don't want to do this portion of the recipe or in the future, then just use Italian seasoned breadcrumbs off the shelf. They will work just fine. So now, as you can see, we do have it ground up pretty well, and we're just throwing all of our spices in there. The ingredients are going to be listed down below in the description for how much you're going to need of each type of seasoning and additive and flavoring. Not really an additive in the sense of like yellow 5, but in the sense of oregano or basil. Give them a good spin, twirl them up for a little while. If you got a heavy duty food processor like this, it makes it easier. And once they are a sandy consistency, just dump them onto a sheet pan where they can sit until you are ready to use later in the meatball recipe. Next, we're going to need to make our onion, parsley, and basil mixture for the meatball mix. Oh, garlic too. So cut up a medium onion, throw that in a smaller food processor, grab some parsley, fresh Italian flat leaf parsley, some fresh basil, and then just a couple cloves of garlic. If you have any complaints about this recipe, there is a X in the top right hand of your screen. Just X out, and I don't want you to ever watch one of my videos again because these meatballs are great. We're going to use a meatloaf mix, which is typically available at a big box supermarket like Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Piggly Wiggly, Hannaford, Kroger, King Soopers, Safeway, Food Lion. That's all I can think of. So put your basil, onion, parsley, garlic mix in the meatloaf mix. You're going to crack 3 whole eggs in as well. Yes, 3 whole eggs. And begin to stir it up by hand and get a nice consistency. Do a little bit more myosin blending. It's already been myosin blended, but this is the first time I've ever weighed out the breadcrumbs. I usually just do it by feel, but for you guys, I'm going to weigh it out so that we have a precise measurement and we can duplicate the recipe again going forward. I mean, I can duplicate it, but you wouldn't. You're not inhabiting my consciousness and not aware of what I believe to be the correct consistency of meatballs. I add a little salt and pepper at this step too, even though we did put some in the breadcrumb mixture. That is up to you, but I advise it. Oh, this whole discussion about being inside another person's consciousness and the like reminds me of John Locke's famous parable or story, if you will, about the prince and the cobbler, and whether or not if the cobbler and the prince merely switched memories, that they would in fact be that other person. Is that all that makes up identity, is memories and the significance we attach to them, or is it something more, something essential about our being? Who knows? We can't know, so let's just make some meatballs. What we will know is the final weight of the breadcrumbs and a consistency that you're going to be really happy with. A bready consistency. That's the theme of today. Bready. Breadiness. Okay? So weigh out your meatballs and weigh them out in a precise fashion, which they're all going to weigh the same, because then it will lead to a precise cook time and consistency, and all the guests you have will be happy. Don't lie, though. But you never have people over. That entertainment space with the open floor plan is never used. When you watch House Hunters all those times, you think to myself, oh my God, I'm going to have this beautiful kitchen. People are going to come over and I'm going to eat fresh dishes, or I'm going to make dishes by the cast iron man, and everyone's going to enjoy them. But that's not going to happen. You're never going to do that. You're just going to watch crap on Netflix and microwave stofers. Okay? Prove me wrong. Okay? I've never been wrong once in my life, and I want to be proven wrong today. I do think it's important to weigh them out, though, because you get a consistent cook time. I'm being sincere. About that, I am being sincere to the extent that any human being has the capacity of being sincere. I'm trying. Look at that. That's going to fry up really nice. Did I mention that we're going to be frying them? Well, you should have seen that at the beginning of the video, right? You would know by now. Think back. Think. You have to think. Okay, it was only 6 minutes and 45 seconds ago. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. And at the end of this, you're going to get 16 meatballs that are 60 grams a piece. These are really, to me, kind of like the ideal size. Not too big, but don't, there's no reason. You could just double them. If you want a huge meatball, just make them bigger and cook them. It's just going to take a little bit longer to cook for the heat to penetrate into the meatball. To fry them, we're going to need extra virgin olive oil in a pan heated at 350 degrees before we drop any of the meatballs in, and just fry them one at a time to achieve a really lovely texture on the outside, which is also going to have that critical element of the olive oil flavor. Just a sear, quick sear, and as you progress, you'll see that the meatballs get darker, obviously with any oil that's fresh. This is going to be the result. So, right there, you get a nice little browning on the outside, and just slowly work your way through all the meatballs so you get as most consistent of a color and browning effect as you can. And, I mean, look at that. Come on. That looks just terrific. I never put meatballs in the sauce because I just don't want to depreciate that crunch, that texture on the outside. I have done it before. It's just not what I prefer. And, you top it with the sauce so that you get that a little bit of the snap from that crust at the very end. But feel free to experiment with it. Yeah, feel free. Do whatever you want. I'm in charge of you. I'm not in charge of you. Well, why do people slip into saying that? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Don't fucking tell me to go ahead. I will go ahead. All right? Then again, I don't like that either. Have a good day. I will. Oh, really? You have a crystal ball? It could be the worst fucking day of your life. Jet engine could fall out of the sky right onto your dome. What you want to do after the meatballs are cooked on the outside is put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet so that they are ready to be put in the oven at 350 degrees. And you're going to want to achieve an internal temperature of 165, because 100 degrees Fahrenheit is the appropriate internal temperature of ground meat and poultry and whatever else. And it's the moment we've all been waiting for, the plating. So this is my marinara sauce. You want to see how to make that? Go over to the marinara sauce video. No problem. 30 minutes. Boom. It's done. Put some marinara sauce down. Meatballs on top. Look at that exterior. Glistening. Glistening exterior. And then top it with a little more sauce. Just a little bit. Look at all that nice garlic in there. Pecorino Romano cheese to finish it. And you are going to have people over. You are going to finally use that chef's kitchen that you paid way too much for in suburbia. And, you know, it's all you want to do is keep it clean. You don't actually want to cook in it. Thank you for joining me, guys. Make the meatballs, dirty your kitchen up, and I'll see you soon.